Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Obviously, the bloodlines, there's a lot of baseball history there. Like, that kid is polished on the mound. He's another one where you can just see that frame continuing to get better, getting physical. And he can already run it up in like the low 80s right now. So one to watch there at Marist, another one at Marist. Like, they're kind of loaded over there in the 28-29 group with Colin Lawler as well.
Welcome back to episode 48 here of the Bullpen. Last week we missed our episode. I was kind of coming down with a little sickness there, so with that and then Thanksgiving week just kind of made it tough for us to get an episode in, but we're back here. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Always nice to kind of have some time off, spend time with family or friends or whoever you have, and then obviously kind of leading up into Christmas here in the next couple weeks. But how did your guys' Thanksgivings go? Everything go well for you guys?
Mine was good, Gavin. Yeah, no, everything good. Got to see a bunch of family. Went up to the wife's side in Wisconsin. Spent a couple days up there. Watched plenty of football. Ate plenty of food. Kids running around with their cousins. So it was really good. Yeah, and then came back down here and got a snowstorm. So got a little early Christmas look and kind of easy to get the kids in the spirit and stuff like that when you get weather like this. So no, we haven't really caught up since Thanksgiving. Is everybody else good?
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but last year before Thanksgiving, I went on that little rant about like a 2-plate minimum for everybody on the pod, anyone that listened. But I only ate 1 plate this year. It was embarrassing. I don't know how or why. I didn't even like overeat like appetizers. Like, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. But yeah, it was embarrassing, and I feel like I needed to call that out. I don't know about. Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. Like, the appetite isn't what it used to be, but I don't know. But no, it was good. Had a good time watching some stress-free football, and then I was wishing the Bears could play just because I wanted to watch them so bad on Thanksgiving. But it was nice to just kind of sit back and enjoy it. And then obviously Friday, they played great, so it was a good weekend for sure.
Is the Friday game is that new this year, or was that last year that they started doing that?
The second or third year they've done that. I know last year, or one of them I think was like Dolphins were part of it, I believe.
Okay. I loved that this year. I just being able to watch games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday like that. I don't know. It made for an awesome weekend. So that was awesome.
You do any Black Friday shopping?
Online.
Okay.
Did some Amazon shopping online. We I feel like our family used to always go like to the stores on Black Friday, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, but I don't know. I don't do that. I'm more of a online shopper, make it easy.
No, it's not what it used to be. We went out to Sam's Club to buy like a TV because it was like a really cheap TV. And it was just like not crowded at all. It was kind of sad. Like, I wanted to feel like everyone's like rushing in there, but it was just like a normal day. It was kind of wild.
Yeah. Well, this past weekend, really, we had our preseason ID like Black Friday sale. So when this comes out, that will be over. But hopefully, for those interested in coming to events this winter, you were able to grab that code. But yeah, just be sure, if you didn't still check out those preseason IDs, we have them all across the state throughout the winter, starting at the end of January and into, February? Early February?
Yeah, it might even be March 1st is the last day of events.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The day before high school tryouts start, we run the preseason All-State on that last Saturday, but then that Sunday we'll be in Joliet, and that's always a really good event with guys that maybe we missed on or guys that just want to get in front of us right before the high school season starts. So we should be, pretty much all throughout the state, really heavy in Chicago, but we'll be down in Peoria. Make sure you guys get down there. If you're down in the St. Louis area, we will be running an event at the Bud Dome. It's on the Missouri side. But, yeah, it should be, You mentioned it, like the preseason ID Black Friday code, Gavin. There were a ton of registrations coming through, so that's always good to see. Gets you excited for these events, and a lot of names that we don't know, and that's like to me what it's all about is finding these players that haven't been on the in the system, or guys that maybe have gotten a lot better since the last time we saw them, and potentially put themselves on the map to then earn, future invite only events. And really it's like the road to the Illinois State games, in my opinion. It's the road to get followed this spring at high school games. And then for everybody, like getting them in the mix for Illinois potential Illinois State game invites.
Yeah, and then the week before Thanksgiving, we had our leadership conference with our entire company, every state that we have, and all the employees. We got to kind of get together and talk through about like the vision of the company, I guess, for the next year, and maybe some new things that we can implement into each of our states or each of our roles, kind of day-to-day stuff, some new ideas, whatever it may be. But it's always great to get together with everyone. You kind of meet a lot of people. You learn from other people. You hear about, new things going on, what the year is going to look like, things like that. But do you guys have any big takeaways from that, the conference?
No, I mean, I think it's always a great time to see everybody, but I think the biggest thing that I took away was that we were named the MVP basically of all the states. Like we won the award. I don't exactly know like every single stat that they looked at, but I know we were picked as like the most valuable state. So if you want to touch on that a little bit, but I think like that's a direct reflection of like you and what you've done with this pod. Just like what it does on social. So I was really, really proud of you, and like just proud of the staff for being, named that. I think second year in a row. I don't know if it was the same exact award. Like, was it named something different last year?
We got like the Cy Young is what they called it, and then this year was the MVP.
Okay.
Which, going off like the Thanksgiving and things you're thankful for, our viewership, like that's what it comes down to is, followers, clicks, like YouTube. I mean, this better than I do, Gavin, but just YouTube impressions and followers, and it's a combination. I know, Pete, you mentioned like what is it stat wise, like the different categories. They don't, they didn't tell us, I guess, but it's an all-encompassing, social, link clicks on the website, YouTube, and the fact that we were either, at the top or towards the top compared to a lot of different states across the country. And to me, like, I just really appreciate the audience, people that actually care to tune in. And you said it, like Gavin Smith leading the charge on this podcast, and like everything we do from a social content standpoint, and Dane Poe executing things behind the scenes that maybe people don't see. And then, Pete and Tyler being some of the main guys getting out in the spring, along with a number of other guys. But like, really, to me, was a huge group award, and really pumps me up. And like, we're always striving to get better. And I think it's one of those things where like, okay, what can we do now to continue this and, be in the same spot next year, getting this award. But really, like, thanks to everybody out there that even pays attention to this and listens in. But yeah, Gavin, feel free to cap that off any way you want.
No, yeah, and I was kind of thinking about it after we got that, and like it's obviously really cool to get an award like that and have our staff recognized. But I feel like the thing that I think we do really well is just every day, I feel like whether it's a story or podcast or spotlight video, whatever it may be, I feel like our goal is always seriously just to like, how can we spotlight the players in Illinois better every day? Like, and I feel like we try and come up with new ways to do that. And I feel like we do it pretty well. But ultimately that I feel like is our goal, is like every day, how can we help these players get more shine, I guess, and be seen by more people. And I hope we're doing that. I think we're doing it, but that is, I feel like, our goal.
Yeah, and in cool and creative ways. Like, things can get stale, or the world's always changing, and how can we evolve with it, whether it's through podcasts, whether it's through short clips, and guys coming to events and guys being seen in tournaments and in high school games. That's what allows us to spotlight guys. And I think you were but like our whole goal is to shine a brighter light on these players in Illinois and these programs, these high school programs, through a number of various ways. And hopefully we'll continue to, push the envelope next year. And really excited too. Like we have the IHS BCA coming this weekend. So it'll be a couple days after this release. And it kind of starts there with talking to these high school coaches and, hey, who's showing well, like in, whether it's just in the weight room, like who's really getting after it or anything they, heard or saw this fall and guys are excited about in the spring. Maybe some young guys coming up through the mix that we need to know about. And there's always a ton of great takeaways from these high school coaches and just chatting and maybe doing some podcasting there as well. So yeah, always continuing to try to get better here and do the best we can for these athletes in Illinois that need to be seen.
Yeah, and one thing I just had to touch on, the whole college football thing. Yeah, obviously I don't know, there's not as many like coaching changes, I don't think, the way that it is in college football. But even my mom asked me the question, like, hey, what's the deal with this Lane Kiffin guy on Friday morning, I think it was, or maybe Saturday. But yeah, he's at LSU now, left Ole Miss before the playoffs, which is really, really interesting. But I just had to mention that because it was obviously kind of taking the country by storm, it felt like, the past few days.
No, I mean, I was pretty fascinated by the situation. I guess it doesn't surprise me that he left. I know he was trying to coach his team through the playoff and all that stuff. Someone gave him an ultimatum. Am I right? It was at LSU's last game. Do they have one more? Is the where are we at in the season here?
I think LSU's done. I don't think they were bowl eligible. I don't think they won enough games. Let's see.
That was another piece. I was like, is he going to go to LSU and do they have another game and do they keep the interim coach coaching the team? Or like that was a weird dynamic, but it would make sense if their season was over. But yeah, feel bad for the Ole Miss players like that have had this awesome year. I mean, they're obviously still going to be pushing for college football playoff and winning the title, but without their head coach. And then a ton of their staff left as well.
They did go 7-5, so they could be playing in a bowl game. I would think the interim will coach that. I don't think Kiffin will, but
yeah,
he'll probably just be around and whatnot.
Yeah, I find that so strange. And then what, is he gonna have to wait until the year's officially over to then go through all the staff changes and the role? Like,
I think he already has.
No, he's doing all that now. Like,
Yeah.
he can do all the behind-the-scenes stuff now. He just probably won't be doing any, like, on-field coaching, I wouldn't think. Like, if I had to guess, like, with all the bowl practices, if LSU accepts going to a bowl, like, schools have to, like, accept or decline the invitation to play in a bowl game. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if LSU is like, no thanks. I don't know, though.
They'd probably be turning down a ton of money if they said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also players can opt out of games. So like if you can't field a team, but he'll probably scout like their practices and whatnot. They're probably going to do a bunch of scouting from all their games this year, and he's going to decide who he wants on that roster next year and going forward. So he'll do a bunch of the behind the scenes stuff. He can do that now. I saw a clip last night. He had like some 5-star kid from Louisiana in his office last night. So he's probably hitting the ground running, doing all the behind the scenes stuff now.
I thought it was interesting after all of this was like starting to come out. People were like, why are you, because I guess he was still having meetings with the coaching staff, and that's how they kind of figured out that he was bringing the entire offensive staff with him. And if they weren't like on the plane to Baton Rouge, basically, then he was not going to allow them to coach. But then I think he was also having player meetings scheduled, and people, Ole Miss fans, were like, why are we like allowing this guy in the building? Like, he's just going to try and take all of our players, which is interesting. Like, that does seem a little sketchy, but I don't know. It's just kind of the way it is.
It's what they
now.
all do. I mean, if you leave from one school to another, you're going to try and take guys. I mean, Franklin's doing it at Virginia Tech right now. He's trying to get Penn State guys, like, and he's taking all their recruits. Like Dan, we were talking, Bob Chesney is going to go to UCLA, like from James Madison. He's going to try and take his best James Madison guys, just like Signetti did when he went to Indiana. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, the crazy thing, And the unfortunate thing is just the people in charge of the NCAA just don't know what they're doing. Like this schedule with the transfer portal opening before the season's even over. Early signing day is Wednesday. The season's not even over. This was bound to happen. A coach leaving a playoff team for a better job, which LSU is a better job than Ole Miss. It just is what it is. So hopefully this will get people to like wake up, and in the NCAA that is to like we need to fix some stuff. Because the calendar is just insane. Like the transfer portal is free agency for college football. It'd be like MLB free agency starting in August, and the season doesn't end until September, October. Like, it makes no sense. So it'll be interesting to see if anything changes thanks to Lane Kiffin because of this, but it was definitely crazy. I mean, feel for the Ole Miss fans, but I don't know if it's just putting on a brave face, but they seem pumped about Pete Golding being promoted to head coach full time. Like, they didn't even, he had the interim tag, it seemed like, for 5 seconds. So
he is named the head coach.
Yeah, so that's interesting. But Pete Golding was a defensive coordinator for Saban, so he's definitely probably got the chops in the background to get a full-time gig. So it'll be interesting. Excited to see what happens in the playoffs if Ole Miss goes on like a run or anything like that, even without Kiffin. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that is wild to me. That these guys, like, their whole offensive staff is gone. They can opt out of playing in the bowl games, which if you have a chance at the national title, I don't know how you opt out of that.
Yeah, guys won't probably opt out of playoff games, I wouldn't think, especially at a program like Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely interesting and spicy stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, it's incredibly like messy. I saw a tweet where they just put his like rack of clothes out on the street and just left it there. Like, it is just so like teenage breakup type stuff, you know. It's just like immature. But I also saw he like left his dog. The dog, I forget what the name is of that thing, but and I'm sure people are blowing that up. Like, I'm sure he's gonna bring it with him, but like people were like, "Oh, he didn't even bring his dog with him," like all this stuff, and it's just like they're trying to make so many like headlines out of nothing. It's just, I'm glad I'm not involved in it. I like have to, you know.
I don't know enough about it. I thought I saw a tweet or something that said like that's like he was pawning that off like that was his dog and it was never his dog. I don't know. That's probably something that maybe I'm speaking out of turn here because I know so little about all this situation, but it is like, you know, you just catch little bits here and there and it's pretty hilarious. But I mean, shout out to him for what he did at Ole Miss. Like, nobody's turned that program around like he has and put himself in the position to be like the power player, like trying to coach Ole Miss while still accepting the LSU job. And he was clearly highly sought after, so he's doing something right. And kind of made Ole Miss relevant.
I thought I was reading up on his like history. Like, I forgot that he was at like FAU. Like, he basically got fired from, I forget what school. Was it USC? Potentially?
Yeah, USC, Tennessee. He was offensive coordinator for Bama, and they were in the playoffs. I think it was before the national championship game. He was like ready to accept the FAU job, and Saban basically told him like, "Yeah, you're done then. Like, you need to go to FAU if like that's where you're going." So
he's kind of already done this before.
Yes, which was funny because like if you watch Game Day, everybody's like, "Oh, like, you know, poor Kiffin having to do this." Then like Saban's up there talking about it. It's like, dude, you literally fired him before because of stuff like this. So I don't know. It's crazy, but yes, he's done this before. He's had like a huge rebound story, I feel like, because he was in the NFL. That was like a terrible experience. He was with the Raiders. He was their head coach and all this stuff. He took over USC. It's nuts. He's an interesting character for sure.
One last thing I wanted to touch on. I know if I don't, Tyler again will be mad at me. But the Bears beating the Eagles on Friday was obviously a big win. Both teams 8-3 going into that, and then they finished I think 5-0 in November, which is just, I never would have guessed that this would have happened. So I'm enjoying the ride. It's so fun. If they finish with 9 wins, like I don't care. It's a successful season to me. You know, with what I had expected, I guess. So I'm really happy with it. They just keep looking better each week. Their O-line's been awesome. The run game was incredible. Like, that was one of the best games I've ever seen out of the run game for the Bears in a long time. So that was awesome. But, yeah, Packers next week should be fun.
I think I'm to the point now where I would officially be, like, really disappointed if they didn't make the playoffs. Like, I was, when they were at, like, 7 or 8 wins, it's like, you know, they still got the Steelers, they still got the Eagles, they got a tough schedule. Like, I could see them not finishing out, like, as hot as they had been, but I think now we're at the point, like, you're sitting at 9 wins, like, we've got to win, like, 2 of these last 5 games. And I think we could easily do it. Like, we got to win 1 in the division at least. I think we can. The Browns are, you know, obviously no games are guaranteed in the NFL, but if that's one you're circling, that's like going to probably be a win. It's probably that one, and then you got to win another one, and then you're sitting in a decent spot. But I don't know. Like, I'm still not, like, this is not the year that I think they're going to, like, do damage. You know, this is like the 2015 Cubs to me. It's like they're a year early on what we're expecting, but, like, dang, am I excited for, like, what's going to happen, because I think, like, we got the guy at head coach. Like, Ben Johnson is the absolute man. I think he's done an unbelievable job just with the entire team, changing the culture. Caleb, I mean, he's getting better. Like, I think Caleb's our guy, Ben's our guy, and I just would have never expected to be, like, saying this stuff, especially starting 0-2 and just, like, being like, oh my God, here we go again. But no, I'm super happy to be a Bears fan right now. It's been incredibly fun. And even if they don't make the playoffs, like, I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, just the fact that, you know, squeak out 9-10 wins, I'm happy, but I think, you know, they got to sneak in the playoffs. And I think they can do it, but we'll see.
Hey, number 1 in the NFC, man. It feels good. It feels good. I think we got to take 2 in the next 3, you know. Got 2 games against the Packers, and then in between, got the Browns. I think take 2 in the next 3, and then go from there. But I feel pretty good as a Bears fan as well.
I mean, I think you got to shout out, like, Ben Johnson has completely changed everything, and even this season. You can start 0-2. We're 9-1 since starting 0-2, and it seems like every week becomes like, hey, this is the biggest game of the year. This now is, you know, Steelers now, you know, and then you go to Eagles. Now you got the Packers. Like, I hadn't had a win like that, you know, when they beat the Eagles on Friday since 2018, I don't think. And I mean, to me, because of Ben Johnson and what this team has done, like, you better be thinking playoffs. Like, they've clearly changed the expectations, and the fan base, and, like, Dane, like you said, like, they're sitting at number 1 in the NFC right now. Like, we need to be thinking playoffs. But I mean, yeah, you can look at the schedule going ahead, 5 games, whatever. Like, no, the biggest game is the Packers coming up at Lambeau. Win or lose, you know, going into the Eagles, it was, how are they going to compete? How are they going to compete? And they're going into Green Bay. How are they going to compete? Like, Ben Johnson, he put the target out there when, in his press conference, when he took the Bears job, that he liked beating Matt LaFleur. And he enjoyed beating the Packers twice a year. So you better believe those guys are going to be fired up. The way I look at it, too, is like, we're going to be almost getting free agent signings here the next couple weeks. We took the Eagles on without our linebackers. We finally got Jalen Johnson back. Like, the way the defense looked against the Eagles, yeah, you can say what you want about their offense. It was the best I've seen the defense play all season. The offensive line is only getting better. That stuff plays coming down the road in bad weather, whether it's at Lambeau, at Soldier. You know, obviously there are some huge games coming up, but, like, no, expectations, at least where I sit, have completely changed, and I am super fired up for the Bears. It's incredibly fun. Chicago deserves a team like this. And I'm all in on Ben Johnson. I mean, I can't say it enough. Love the pass catchers factor in the tight ends, the receivers, the way the receivers have bought into blocking, everything about it. So that's where I'm at. I'm super excited for the final stretch of this season, but like I'm looking at this next game, and that's all I really care about. So we'll see what happens. But man, the Bears have put themselves in a position. I think we're all talking like nobody saw this coming. And you better believe I'm thinking this year. Like nothing is guaranteed in the sports world. Um, when it can change. You look at the Bengals, they make the Super Bowl and get second, and they think, oh man, my window's wide open, and they can't get to the playoffs because of injuries, because of all this stuff that happens. So while we have the contracts that we have all lined up right now, we're freaking going for it. And I absolutely love everything that they got going right now. I'm super pumped. So that's my take on the Bears.
I wanted to throw one more thing in there. Yesterday when I was watching the Steelers game, or no, the Rams Panthers like looking game, just out of nowhere, the announcer was talking about how the Rams were his favorite offense to watch, but then the Bears were a close second. And then in the Bills Steelers game as well, the Bears offense was brought up in that game. So it's not just like Illinois people talking about the Bears. This is a NFL wide talk right now. Like the Bears have opened plenty of eyes over this past weekend.
It'll be a super fun test against Green Bay because I thought they looked about as good as they've looked all year last week against the Lions too. The way their defense is playing, I mean, if Jordan Love's doing what he was doing, it's going to be a heck of a test. I'll tell you what, that Philadelphia Eagles game, like it was super fun to watch. The fact that we did it in Philly and getting to see their fans' reactions made it that much sweeter. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't get a little humble pie here, but I fully expect the Bears to keep it going.
I love Dennis Allen as well.
Yep.
What he's done with like a broken, literally like practice squad defense at times has been really impressive, and I think like he's a mastermind, just like Ben Johnson offensively. And I think the C.J. Gardner-Johnson signing was another turning point for us. Like he has single-handedly helped like change the vibe on the defense. And I think it was a couple games ago where Caleb got hit out of bounds, and he was like the first one in their face. Like guys are just bought in. The dude's been on the team like 2 weeks, and he's already bought in. Like Ben Johnson's just able to do that. But yeah, I think the entire coaching staff has been awesome, and I hope we can keep Dennis Allen. You know, like I know he's been a head coach before. I don't know, but I hope we can keep him around for at least a little while, a few years, hopefully.
All right, let's get into some baseball stuff here. So our ProCase roster, starting to kind of fill up. I think we had a few more registrations over the past couple weeks, but I don't know if there's anything you guys want to touch on that event or just the roster as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it'll hopefully just continue to kind of slowly grow as we get closer to the event at the end of January. But you meant like getting Caleb Cox. He's from the Springfield area, going to NIU. I think he's one of the higher ceiling arms in the entire class. Like it's so far from where it's going to be. I think that'll be a perfect one to be there, kind of get on the radar at some of these pro scouts. And then also Sam Finn. Like to me, he had one of the best 2025s of anybody in the state. Like I know Tyler saw him early at the Kickoff Classic, and it felt like just from there he just blew up and blossomed. And really excited to see what he looks like kind of after a winter here of being committed to Kentucky, continuing to kind of refine his craft. But it's a big lefty that's got low 90s fastball and a good curveball, and is a strike thrower from what we've seen. So that's another good one. Gavin Michaels is also coming. I think when I highlighted the roster last time, I missed him, but he's one of the more dynamic athletes in the state. So like it's exactly what it should be right now. I was talking to Cooper Trinkle in Indiana. He was gonna, get a couple invites out to a few Indiana guys as well. They did last year. They brought maybe 3 to 5 guys. So between Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana, we should just have a really deep, strong roster. And to me, that's the goal of this thing. Is it's not about the volume; it's about the quality. The quality of the prospects, giving the scouts, the eye candy and the prospects that they should be seeing, and really exciting. So it kicks off kind of the preseason. I know we'll have Aurora as well early on in January, or I guess mid to late January, but early on in our showcase season. But yeah, that's what I got on the pro case, and it should be really, really solid.
And then last week we released early in the week the 2029 rankings. We updated that, or I guess I shouldn't say updated. We released it for the first time, and then this week, once this comes out, we will have already released our 2028 rankings update. So, doing some ranking stuff here the past couple weeks. But anything you guys want to add on that, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, we can start with the 29s. We did a top 5. Paris Head debuted at our number 1. He's at Lane Tech, shortstop, right-handed pitcher. Then Todd Delaney was at 2nd from Nazareth. Terrell Hampton Hall in the 3rd position from De La Salle. And then Cody Bush from JCA at 4, and Leo Kelly from Loyola at 5. I mean, we kind of went back and forth on what we wanted to do with like the rankings debut, like how many names do we want to cut it at, because there's names that easily, could be in a top 10, top 15, whatever scenario, but we wanted to keep it small, just by design, and just kind of, like riff on guys like in this scenario. I mean, Drew, do you want to talk through like the top 5? And then we can kind of talk about a few other guys too,
Well,
maybe?
and yeah, just to kind of piggyback what you're talking about, like these guys are super young. There's
Yeah.
still so much developing still to come. Especially us as a staff, like we really, when we're hammering the high school season, the tournament season in the summer, like we're seeing a lot of, sophomores through seniors. Yes, we're getting some looks at some 29s and some 2030s at some of these younger high school events, these rising stars events that we run, and then the junior future games really plays a big role into like the 2029 rankings. Um, but if we just get a one-off look at a guy and he looks really good, like we're not going to put him in that initial release. Like these are guys that we're very comfortable about. We've had multiple looks at them at a younger age. We feel very, very strong that like, hey, as they progress, and continue to develop as baseball players throughout high school, like we think these are the type of guys that should stick towards the top of the class. Are there some guys that, we'll throw in there early that maybe don't? Yeah, of course. You're always going to have those one-offs. But, man, these guys have done a lot for us. Like, Paris Head, to me, is one of the more dynamic guys in the state, two-way talent. Like, it's really good on the mound. And, two, like, he's got velo, at a young age. But it's how you get to your velo, I think, is a big thing with him. Like, there's some guys that are arm strength guys that are head whack and a ton of effort. Like, no, his is athletic. It's a quick, whippy arm. You look at Todd Delaney at number 2, like, there's so much more to come with him. And the way that the swing works and the juice he's already shown with the body type he has, like, it's only going to get more dynamic. Like, he's a long strider as well. Terrell Hampton Hall, I think he's got a really advanced hit tool. And then you just watch the way he receives behind the plate. It's like, okay, you have a guy that should be able to stick and be a legitimate, like, number 1 type of caliber catcher behind the plate, who also should hit in the middle of the order. Cody Bush, like, if you break down tools in the 29 class, like, you're going to find better runners. You're going to find better arms across the infield. But, like, you watch him play. We had a chance to watch him all summer. I know, Pete, you saw him multiple times at the Rock, and then we get him at the junior future games. It's like he might have the best feel and IQ in the class. And just, he's a gamer. And like one of the double plays he turned at the JFGs is like, it looked like a college guy out there turning a double play. And then you've got Leo Kelly, and he is kind of that physical specimen with a quick arm that already throws hard, where you're like, man, I think he's going to throw even harder. And then you watch him swing the bat, and it's like he's got all kinds of thump in the bat too. So, I think these are guys that we've seen multiple times. We feel really good about. They're guys that, like, hey, when they walk into high school, it would be a very good chance these guys are going to be varsity caliber type of players as a freshman. And then there's a bunch of guys that are left off the list that might be as well, but maybe we just don't have as good of a feel for them, or, they didn't perform quite at the highest level as some of these other guys did when it comes to in-game performance or whatever it may be. And we're just going to take a breath and let them continue to develop. Let us get more looks at them. And because to me, it's all about that confidence level. Those 5 guys we feel very confident about. And as our confidence grows with these other guys, we'll continue to expand the rankings. and there's no reason to be in a hurry right now at 2029 prospects. We're identifying a number of them. If you see our ranking sheet and our, the way we do it, there's a ton of names on that list, and we've got them graded out. We've got, how many looks have we had at these guys? What events have they been to? Some guys, if you just see them playing a game one time and you haven't had them in a showcase, it's like, we would love to break down their numbers. What do they run in a 60? What kind of bat speed do they have? What kind of TrackMan, batted ball metrics do they have to help paint a fuller picture? So I know that's long-winded there, but like, that's where I'm at with the 2029 rankings. We've got a full winter coming up too, where we're going to get more and more looks at guys, get a little more in depth, be able to, with all the data that we provide now at these showcases, all the data collection and the gathering of info that we're going to get, like, it's going to help us make better decisions and feel more confident, expanding this list before the high school season starts.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, like, the list is not set in stone, right? It's very fluid. It's going to grow each update. And there's plenty of names that we like a handful of guys that I like off the top of the head, like Paulie Hobbs. Similar to Leo Kelly, like very physical right now. And is an in-game performer with the bat and on the mound. He's, he can throw, he's around low 80s on the mound, and he's got insane strength at the plate. Like, we saw him put up big EVs at the Junior Future Games. Braxton Bruns from Rochelle, like 6'4", low 80s arm, like moves incredibly well. Like, that kid's going to be a stud on the mound. And then another one that I like, Charlie Coleman, an athletic left-handed hitter, just smooth mover. It's all about the movement patterns. And I would bet on that kid. I like him on the mound and at the plate. But yeah, I mean, like Drew was saying, like, this list goes down to like there's like 100 names in here, and we ranked 5. So that just gives a little,
I think we're on the same page with some guys that weren't in the top 5, because I literally had all 3 of those guys written down as guys to touch on, because Paulie Hobbs did put on a show at the Junior Future Games. Like, he probably has the most raw power of anybody maybe in the class, or at least that was on that team. And Braxton Bruns is one that you just watch the video. It's like, man, I could dream on that for days. It's the easy velo. It's the long, high-waisted frame. And then you watch the fastball, and like, hey, velo's one thing, but like the way a fastball plays is huge. And like, his ball just takes off with horizontal. It looks like it would miss a ton of bats. And then, I mean, Charlie Coleman, we didn't even see him pitch at the Junior Future Games because he had a little thing going on. But just athletic and easy mover, and really looks like an athlete and stands in the box right. And I mean, there's a number of other guys. I don't know if anybody else had anybody on their list that they wanted to chat on, but like, this list will grow. And even like, we start talking about the preseason All-State, we're running the underclass, which will be 28s and 29s. We get a lot of requests in, a lot. And man, like, shout out to the people out there that want to come to that event. It's awesome. There's a lot of like combing through these prospects that we have to do. So looking at some of these names that I've never even heard of, being like, man, I really like that. Like, we've got to get this guy invited, or making a call on him, like trying to get a little bit more information about him. But that's really what it comes down to, is when we're looking at like these preseason All-State invites with guys we've never seen before, we're doing like the digging, and we're trying to find any info we can. Videos is always the best way. So like, if you are out there and you're trying to get an invite to something, like, send us a video. That's, to me, always better than just sending blanket stats, or I hit 480 this summer and 12 home runs. Like, I don't know who you're playing against. I have no idea. Like, just send me video. It gives us great idea of body type, how physically mature are you, and then movement patterns, like Peter was talking about. Like, that's what I'm watching for in video, is like, what kind of mover are you? And then you can just tell a lot by like an approach, or the way a swing works as well, or actions on the infield, or the way the arm works on the mound. So, but it is cool, like, looking at some of these requests, because it's like, man, there's so many more 2029s out there that we don't have a great grasp on yet. And that's the beauty of the winter season every year, is these young guys, or these new guys that come out of the woodworks that we didn't know about. And it doesn't just happen in the winter. It happens all the time in the spring at high school games, and in the summer watching tournaments too.
Yeah, and then the 28s, are there any guys you want to touch on in that class? I know we're doing the update. It'll come out tomorrow, which is Tuesday, but
yeah, some 29s here, and then like just looking through our list, like Tyler Landsey's a guy I'm keeping my eyes on. Providence Catholic really runs. Dempsey Steinmetz, big power. He's a Marist guy, along with Paulie Hobbs and Andrew Jones. Got some good 29s to follow there. Andrew Jones was really good at the junior future games. Just a really good defender, top of the order type of bat. Mason Carlson, a physical catcher that can swing it a little bit. A lot of these guys were junior future game guys, but Henry Schauer is another one at Jacobs. Kind of a dynamic infielder that can do a lot of little things. And then there's more, but yeah, 28s, Gavin. Getting back to kind of what you were leading us into. Sorry that I kind of reverted back, but the fall, we see some stuff at tournaments. We do run a few events in the fall. There was some stuff we gathered, but it's not a time to go crazy with the rankings. We had originally had 50 in the previous rankings update. We expanded. We threw 10 names in there to take it to a top 60. It's one of those other things too, where it's like cutting it off at a clean number. Maybe not taking it to 62. Like there might have been 7 guys that warranted to be on there. We're not taking it to 67. We'll get them in hopefully at the next rankings update or see more of them. But yeah, there were a couple guys that kind of moved in the rankings, not many, just some guys that we did get looks on this fall. And then we slotted 10 new guys in there. But one of the guys that, Pete, I know you were watching him at the underclass showcase and he warranted a move because he was already ranked. He was at our Illinois State games, but it's Blake Harris. Out of El Paso Gridley, just a big physical small town guy with some big arm strength, and it seems to be ticking up. So,
yeah, I mean, it was an easy jump for me. Like we ranked him when he was 84, 85, and now he's 88, 89. Like he's 6'6". You can't teach frames like that, right? Like you either have it or you don't, and that's step one. And then the arm strength obviously is. I mean, that natural raw arm strength, you can't really teach that. Like, you can teach, throwing harder down the road, but, like, his floor right now is, he could probably go get outs somewhere in college right now, throwing 88, 89 in the zone. Like, and if, like, just cleaning up the mechanics a little bit throughout the years, he learns his body, learns how to move a little better, controls his levers a little bit more. The breaking ball, like, flashed good. Like, it's a little bit behind right now, and that's the one thing that, like, he could be even higher if it was the breaking ball was a little better, but, like, that I fully expect to continue to get better. And, it's a good spot to have him. We got him up to 29 right now, and I could easily see that changing in a good way. But yeah, he was an easy one for me. And
it'll
then Drew,
it'll be fun to watch and see, like, okay, he made that jump from August to October. To where it was like, low to mid 80s up to 88, 89. Like, who knows what he could be in the end of February at our preseason All-State. And then he's instantly put himself on, like, hey, future games watch. He's the 28s are the next class for the future games. It starts early. And basically, as soon as that event's over, we're thinking, all right, who are going to be the next future game guys? And the beautiful thing about that is we run the super sophomore games now too. So it's like those guys are putting themselves, at that event as, hey, we gotta foul every single one of these guys for the future games. But Blake Harris at El Paso Gridley, like, I don't think we've seen them play since Nathan Lavender. Went to Illinois, pitched in pro ball still, but like now we're gonna go see El Paso Gridley. We gotta get a start of Blake Harris and see what he's about this spring. So, no, go on if you were gonna mention another guy there, Pete.
No, you nailed it. I was just going to mention your guy, Riley Cook, another one. Like, everybody else in the rankings is basically roughly the same spot. We added 10 new guys, but Blake Harris and then Riley Cook were two of the bigger risers. And we were just talking about Riley Cook a little bit, like, just one that you want to bet on, right? Just watching the video, like, you can see that getting more physical, and he just really looks the part. And I know you're a big fan of his video.
Yeah, no, you said it. Especially at the younger ages, like movement patterns, but then also the frame. And Riley Cook's got that high-waisted, long-levered frame. And having long levers is, one thing, but like usually when you do see a younger prospect with those levers, it's hard for them to control those levers. And to me, like Riley Cook has really good feel for the levers. You watch the way his arm action is, it's actually kind of a shorter arm. It plays really easy and it's already into like the mid upper 80s. And then same with like the swing. Like he really stays compact and inside the baseball. It's super easy and balanced. And then it stays on plane and it's flat. Um, so like when you look at a guy like that, it is very easy to dream on that because I just picture him, whether it's this next year or 4 years down the road, like he's going to add 20, 30 pounds onto that frame and everything's going to tick up. So really excited. He's a new Trier prospect. It's one of those schools too. Like you never know with these 28s, 29s, depending on the school they go to, who's in front of them. Like, will he even play varsity? No idea. New Trier is super deep. That's a hard lineup to crack as a young prospect. Same with like a Todd Delaney at Nazareth. Who knows? Like he's number 2 on our list. It doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to play varsity. Joliet Catholic, Cody Bush, like Lane Tech. I mean, Paris Head. Lane Tech's got a bunch of guys. Now, Dodger Frederick did throw there, as a freshman, got big innings for them. He's our number 2 prospect in the 2028 class. So you got Lane Tech. They've got a 29 that's number 1 in the state right now, and they've got a 28 that's, number 2 in the state right now. So, shout out to Coach Freeman over there. But those are things you look at too, because I would say, man, we'll love to get a look at Riley Cook this spring in high school. We don't know. Hopefully we will. But yeah, it's just every school is a little different with how they play those young prospects.
Imagine if Lane Tech still had Sushi Wilson.
Oh,
they'd have like the number 1 player in 27, number 2 in 28, number 1 in 29. That'd be pretty nuts. But there was a few guys.
Kind of reminds me of McHenry. They got Brandon Shannon, and then you got Caden Wisniewski, and you got Carver Cone, and I love it. That's a public school.
Yeah.
So no, that's a great call out. I was not thinking of Sushi there because he's been at IMG now for a little while, but yeah.
No, I mean, we can talk about a few of the guys that are hopping in here. Like Jacob Height is one of my favorites, making his way into the rankings at 23. Two-way, I mean, you guys had said it yourselves, like watching him at the event, like it reminded you of Jenner Smith. And boom, they're right next to each other in the rankings. Like similar body types, both move really well, similar tools, and they're just 2 guys you want to bet on. They're going to get better, like their best days are still ahead of them. I know you guys saw him with the bat, but I really liked it on the mound. I thought it was very clean, like 3 pitches for strikes, polished, and he should have a chance to get some varsity innings at St. Lawrence. I mean, obviously, nothing set in stone. I'm not making their roster for them. Yeah. They're loaded. They're absolutely loaded. So it would totally make sense to keep him down and just get a ton of innings and grow there. So, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, that kid's good enough to be on varsity. In like, if he was at a different school, probably on varsity, right?
For sure. And like, we do a ton of future game follow and digging and cross-checking in the spring season. So when you are a guy like Jacob Height and you do go to St. Lawrence and they are loaded, I think we touched on them already as like, far too early team to watch. It's like, man, you hope that that you can get some looks, or even like a pregame, like watching them take pregame or a pinch hit. But yeah, who knows with that program and what they have coming back, because that's one of the teams to definitely watch out for next year. But Jacob Height's definitely been a fan favorite of mine. He tore it up at the Rock this fall as well for a couple of our guys. But looking at some of the newcomers too, like I put on like our little cheat sheet here, just like a bunch of left-handers to watch and like some two-way guys. You got JD Farkas at Hersey, who's really clean and polished on the mound. I really like the swing. You got Dane Franks at Orion, who Dane Poe, I think you got to look at him down at Georgia, throwing down there. Kind of the same way, swings the bat.
Quick arm. Fastball was low to mid 80s, but really liked the changeup. The changeup stood out to me. Was able to bury it in the bottom of the zone. Get a good amount of swings and misses. Sorry.
No, you're good. And just anytime you got left-handers that throw strikes, have some present velo, show a secondary pitch, it's like we got to pay really close attention to them. Left-handed pitching is one of the highest commodities. It's like a left-handed hitting infielder, left-handed hitting catcher, left center fielder that can burn. Those left-handed pitchers we got to follow super, super closely because they are typically some of the quickest ones off the board too when you talk to college coaches and when they finally can communicate to those college coaches. And then another one I have is Dante Giannino. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's at Jabot Catholic down there in Southern Illinois, St. Louis area. He popped on the radar this fall at a scout day that I think Kevin Mulder and Prep Baseball Missouri was running. Same sort of deal, like quick arm, with some minimal effort too. That's what really stood out to me in the video. And fastball changeup guy, looks like the breaking ball is still developing. But those were just some three newcomers, left-handed pitchers. Also, a couple of them swing the bat and maybe should be looked at as two-way guys as well that got on the board and stood out to me. I don't know if you have any other newcomers, anybody out there that you want to touch on.
I mean, I like talking about Jack Bullington and Haven Gamboa. Like, Bullington was a junior future gamer for us. I mean, obviously the bloodlines, there's a lot of baseball history there. Like, that kid is polished on the mound. He's another one where you can just see that frame continuing to get better, getting physical. And he can already run it up in like the low 80s right now. So one to watch there at Marist, another one at Marist. Like, they're kind of loaded over there in the 28-29 group with Colin Lawler as well. But then Haven Gamboa, Mount Carmel, catcher, infielder. Like, that kid has done nothing but get better over the last year. Like, the first time I saw him was at that Chicago ID in the Pullman Center. And he was a nice little player. Like, he was athletic. Just, the tools were a little bit behind. But we saw him in the summer in June, and it was a different kid. Like, I encourage people listening to go to his profile, watch the video. The swing is like tremendously improved. The twitch alone, like, it's a different player. Like, he has made so many strides, and he's a kid I want to bet on for sure. He's a really good kid. Just another one that I wanted to shout out right there.
Well, and I love it because we saw him in September as well at a tournament. And, he was performing so well behind the plate that we took video of him catching and receiving and the actions. And, like, for, everybody's going to get video, like the swings on guys that they like, a pitcher, you'll get him from behind, try to get as many pitches as you can. But, like, he clearly really stood out for us to make sure we got video of him catching. And I think, like, athletic catchers that got some good bat to ball skills, like, he's going to be a guy to follow, especially with more strength to come down the road. I was going to shout out Naperville North. They've got two guys ranked in this 2028 class. Lawton Close and then Sam Steele. Sam Steele was a guy that's a newcomer in the rankings. Really, like, has some athletic strength to the frame. The ball jumps off the bat. He's got some arm strength as well. But Naperville North, some young guys coming up. I love to see that for the Huskies over there. I don't know if anybody else has any other 2028s.
All right, and then now we will kind of move over to our event leaderboards, the 2025 event leaderboards. We've kind of been going through the past few episodes and picking someone from the 2025 event leaderboard that we have. If you just go to our website, go to showcases, the drop down there, you'll see a 2025 event leaderboard page. It shows all of the stat leaders from the year. But this week we're doing outfielders. So choosing a guy that was in the outfield velo section, but maybe was also in other stat leader sections. But I'll let you guys go first. Whoever wants to get in there.
I'll lead off. I'm going to take, because I'm afraid Hammett might take this guy. I'm going to go with Connor Crumrye out of OPRF 2027. For me, with this exercise lately, I've been trying to find guys who are on like multiple leaderboards. Connor's on 4 of them from 2025, which very impressive. We see a ton of kids every year. But for Connor, he's 6', 211. He was tied for 8th in the 60, running a 6.57, which is very impressive. He was 8th overall with max exit velocity at a 105.1. I believe that was at our state games, if I'm not mistaken. And then he was 12th, an average EV at 96.3, and he hit the second furthest ball we saw all year at 418 feet. So, just a guy I'm really eager to see this spring and see if he can help out the Huskies over there at OPRF. But yeah, that's who I went with for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Josh Quilazzi from Bartlett, McHenry JC commit. tied for fifth in the outfield velo with a 94 mile per hour velo, and then was right outside the top 20 in a 60-yard time with a 6.71, and also has posted triple-digit EVs in the past as well. So stand out there for Bartlett.
Illinois commit Cole Brent, normal U high 2027. I don't know what exactly rank he was on the list, but he had a 90-mile-an-hour outfield velo, and then he was also on the 60-time list where he ran a 6.67. But just a guy I feel like that has really kind of gotten better over the past few years. This summer I feel like he really had a big summer at tournaments in front of us, and just showed well, and then at the Illinois State games as well. But easy left-handed swing that has some power, 102-mile-an-hour max EV, average 95 off the bat, and then had a 373-foot max batted distance during his round of BP at the Illinois State games this year. So I'm going Cole Brent for the outfield leaderboards.
Drew, you can go ahead. I want to see who you take, and then because I got both of my options. I got both of my options left. So unless you take two, I don't know.
Well, no. One name I saw on the list, and it's not cheating, but I look at him as a versatile player, is Gavin Stanislawski from Brother Rice. He was up to 91 from the outfield, and that looks like it took place at the future games. Also took it on the infield, has plenty of arm strength across the diamond. He's a corner infielder, corner outfielder to me, and a guy that's he's got big tools across the board, especially like a physical frame that runs a 6.74. He's one of the more physical prospects on our future games team this past summer. He's listed at 6'2", 205, and 91 across the outfield, 6.74 runner, max EV of 102.5, averaged 93.4 this past winter at the preseason All-State underclass, with a max distance of 353 on our board, which he hit a couple balls that were probably, well past that, whether it was like the pregame BP we take at the future games, which isn't on a TrackMan, or even in-game. But he worked his way into a loaded Brother Rice lineup this past spring, ended up having to kind of play some left field just with like having Gavin Triesenberg and some other guys on the infield that it was really hard for him to get over there. Excited to see what he does this spring season, but Gavin Stanislawski is going to be my little 2025 outfield event leaderboard pick.
All right, I can cap things off. I still got both of my guys, so I might shout out the one I don't mention anyway. I'm going to go with Logan Fernandez. Just one of the toolsier guys like across the board in the entire state. Like he was tied for number 3 in outfield velo with 96 miles an hour. And the dude can flat go get it. Like he's a 6.41 runner. He ran that at the state games in 2024, but he ran a 6.5 this past year, and he's been up to 99 for the EVs, and he's long been that toolsy guy, recent Triton commit. So excited to see what that kid can turn into with a couple years there. But Dominic Batista, like he's kind of a cheat, like to pick him, but 94 from the outfield. He's a true center fielder. Like the dude has always been able to go get it in the outfield, continues to get stronger, more physical, and he's really starting to make an impact at the plate. Like he's always long been able to bunt for a hit, but now like the bat to ball is really impressive. The strength at the plate is continuing to trend up, and he's a 6.57 runner, which is number 8 on the leaderboard, tied for 8th. So I mean he's a guy that pro guys should be on without a doubt, and just it felt wrong not mentioning him, so I had to throw him in there.
And then Dane, what do we got? I know commitments coming through these past few weeks for the Illinois State games. So what's kind of the update there?
Yeah, we're at nearly 160 commits. Parkland JC has taken the lead with our state game JUCO commits up to 5. And then Butler just got their third state games commit and now is in a 5-school tie for the lead in D1 commits. So it's getting a little aggressive over there. But Lewis still has the lead with 8 total. So.
And then I know there were some like bigger commitments throughout the past couple of weeks too, and I guess by that Division I commits or future games, senior future games commit. You guys got anything? I know we had a few come through. If anyone wants to touch on them.
Shoot, UIC keeps getting guys that we I feel like we talk about a lot and that we really like. I know we were really high on Lincoln Boersma, chatted about him a couple times, and then Jazaris Mackmore might be one of the top athletes like in the state. I mean, he was a three-sport athlete. I believe he still is. Pretty legit at football there out of Marian Catholic. So they got him, and then we may have mentioned Joey Sacchetti. I can't remember, but he can really, really run going to Butler. And then Kyle Zeeble, who was a senior future gamer going to Lakeland Junior College. He can run a little bit. He can defend. He had a couple knocks there at the senior future games. So, but yeah, UIC, I feel like they've been really aggressive and getting a lot of guys that we talk a lot about.
You guys ready for this hot list? I
Oh,
feel like
boy.
we talked about it beforehand, and it might be a little bit tough with our 4 topics left, but we are.
Well, you gotta let the people at home know what the topics are, because it's a little different from what we've been doing. That we're all like prospect based and player based. So let the people at home know what we're working with now.
All right, so we got favorite high school logo, best uniforms, best field, and favorite game attended. And this week's topic is going to be best uniforms. So I actually have a few teams to choose from. So if you guys need a minute, I can just get in there and pick one. Or if you guys are ready, I go ahead. You want me to go? All right.
Lead us off.
So this actually makes it a little harder because I now have to choose one but I'll talk about them all. I guess it doesn't really matter. But I think my final choice here, my pick is going to be Illinois Valley Central IVC out of Chillicothe. Specifically, their pinstripe jerseys, the white jerseys with their maroon pinstripe. It says Ghosts across the chest. And then I just love their hats. Actually, they've had like the same hat for as long as I can remember, ever since I was little. It's like a maroon hat with like an IVC logo on the as like the middle of the hat, I guess, whatever. But I think that white pinstripe jersey at IVC is one of my favorites that I've seen.
Yeah, I'll stay in the Peoria area as well, and also with the pinstripes. I'm going to stick with Washington. I'm a big sucker for pinstripes, always have been, always will be. I really like their pinstripe whites with the orange. So yeah, I think we're on the same mindset here.
That's a great jersey as well. I like that pick, Dane.
I'll go. I'm gonna hop in and go with Providence Catholic's all green uniforms. Now these are kind of new. I believe they dropped last year. Listen, I'm a sucker for Providence Catholic's color schemes. It's the same ones from my high school back home in Ohio. So I have a soft spot in my heart for it. But I love the all green combo. I feel like it's a little unique. I don't know that I've ever seen it, but I love them. The green and gold, the green and white. It's classic in my opinion, and I'm all in on them.
I can hop in here. I'm gonna go with the Lamont, like slight off whites. They're like almost a cream. Those are nice. Like I really like the slight off white. They're kind of classy, like throwback looking. But I just love the color scheme. Like the navy and gold looks really good with it. It's just a classy look. Like I could picture myself loving that in high school with like some stirrups and stuff. So I mean, that's just one that I really like. And it's always just a classy look.
This definitely isn't my specialty. But I would say out of all the ones that I can picture that are coming to my mind, even doing some digging here on our website and looking at some of our high school coverage, I think the Edwardsville all whites are really classy. And I love the helmet too. They've got a really cool like little black and orange helmet, but they've got the cursive Edwardsville across the middle. Just really sharp. I feel like they always strike me, whether it's, just the way they operate down there and go about their business, but it just seems very professional looking and very clean. And I'm a big fan of that.
All right, I gotta list off the other few that I had on here. I actually thought one of you guys would pick the one that I'm gonna mention, but first off, normal U-Highs, white pinstripes with the green pinstripes. IVC, and then St. Joe Ogden's blue. They have like a baby blue jersey that I really like.
I
Brother
love
Rice,
those.
Those are good. Brother Rice's pins, their white jersey with the pins, and then Eureka's green jersey. I'm a big fan of as well. So those are my other choices.
Love it. Man, you had way more options than I did. I'm gonna have to start paying way more attention to the jersey schemes. What I like.
I did a little digging beforehand,
Okay.
because we were talking about it before the podcast. So just in case we had that one, so I lucked out there. But and then kind of, I guess, transitioning. Or go ahead, Pete. What do you got?
I got one honorable mention. I do love the Brother Rice maroon pins, but the St. Lawrence like Army greens are really nice too. I'm a big fan of those.
I don't know if I've ever seen those.
No, it's just us Chicago folk. We get out and see those guys.
Sticking on high school stuff though. Our way too early spring outlook. Who do you guys got for this? All right, Dan, go ahead.
Let me get in here first, real quick, before somebody takes it. I'm gonna go with St. Joe Ogden. They had 6 guys, 6 seniors that are committed to JUCOs. Trevor Ames, two-way, going to Morton Junior College. Bryson Hotchins also going to Morton Junior College at first base. Will Haley, outfielder / catcher, going to Kankakee. Asher Prumer going to Kaskaskia. Logan Rosenthal, Toolsy, outfielder, going to Heartland. And then Parker Fitch going to Lakeland. This is a very heavy team that's gonna wreak some havoc. And then also there's a 28 right-hander and Jamison Ealer, who's up to 84. Good for him. Really interested in what St. Joe Ogden can do this season. I think that they'll be a team to keep an eye on for sure.
I feel like it might be a slight miss on our part that we have now gotten to the 3rd installment of this segment, and we have yet to mention the 4A state runner-ups from last year in McHenry. We've talked on it before. I mean, we got friend of the podcast, Caden Wisniewski, part of that team as well. But like the top 3 in their lineup, pound for pound, might be the best in the state. Well, you got Carver Cone leading it off, Landon Clements behind him, and then Caden Wisniewski behind him. Very talented squad. I think, obviously, going into this year, you lose a guy like Brandon Shannon, who was just absolutely incredible, left with multiple records at a school like McHenry that's, a really good public school. Had Bobby Miller there not too long ago as well. So, for me, I think it'll be interesting to see how they replenish that pitching staff. They had a Bryson Elbrecht last year who graduated, Zach Reedy, who I really liked when I saw him multiple times last spring as well, who graduated. So for me, I feel like that's the biggest question mark is how they're going to replenish that pitching staff. But man, they've got to be the top, if not one of the top contenders in the Fox Valley Conference. So they'll always be battle tested. It's one of the best conferences in the state. But really looking forward to seeing what they got cooking this year.
All right, I'll just hop in. I don't think I'm going to be taking any of your guys' teams here, Pete or Drew, but I'm going Ottawa Marquette. Last year's, 1A state champion. I believe they might be going up to 2A this year. I think I heard someone tell me that maybe in the fall or something, but maybe just worth double checking. I don't know that for sure. They're either going to be 1A or 2A this year, but either way, losing 4 seniors from last year's team, but they return a ton of starters. Alec Novotny, Anthony Couch, Griffin Doberstein, Caden Durden, Grant Dose, and then Easton DiBernardi. And then with that, some of those guys were their biggest arms and biggest contributors on the mound last year. In Alec Novotny, Doberstein threw a ton for them, and then DiBernardi should be having a bigger role this year, I would assume. Anthony Couch threw quite a bit for them, so I think just yet again they're going to be one of the top small school teams in the state. So Ottawa Marquette there. And actually, I think, by the way, the team I might be thinking of is Father McGivney. I think they're moving up to 2A, is what someone told me this fall at one of our events, but could be wrong there.
No, yeah, you never know with the state championships and the multipliers, and sometimes they do get pushed up. I think St. Lawrence is going to be 4A. And some stuff like that. So that's why these coaches questionnaires that come in are so huge too, like letting us know, hey, what class are they going to be in 25 and if anything changed. Pete, you care if I get in here?
No, please go ahead.
All right. Well, the school that I'm going to choose, and I think Tyler, you might have caught me snooping on them earlier because I was doing some research, but in our sheet, Maine South. Coach Brian Lorenz over there. What I really like about him is, well, a couple of things, but they went 23-17 last year, and they made a run to the Super Sectional before losing to Libertyville. So, kind of had some of that early success, got some of that playoff, taste in their mouth, and they return all 9 of their position players. And then they return a bunch of arms as well. And just like kind of cheating because Coach Lorenz did, already fill out the form for us, but like all of his starting pitchers return. He's got arms in the bullpen that are returning with experience as well as a newcomer ready to make an immediate impact. So like just some names, Jack Giannikos should be really, really good for them. He's a upper 80s, low 90s. Long levered guy going to John A. Logan. Connor Griffin was good last year as well. Nick Conway is another arm they have. Sam Higgins going to Wisconsin Oshkosh. He's a left-hander that they'll have. But what I really like is like up the middle of the field. They've got Luka Stojakovic, who shout out Luka. Like it seems like he had a big fall and he's a 2026 catcher that college coaches should know about. And then at shortstop, they've got Alex Valle. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Alex Valle, he's been a starter since his freshman year. I know Coach really, really likes the glove. He's a mainstay there for him. Seems like a huge piece of their team. And then they've got Nate Serra, who I've really liked, kind of throughout the whole year. He can play anywhere. He can play a corner infield. He can play an outfield spot. Peter Cortinos is the same way, kind of a utility guy that can do a lot. And then, our MVP from the Illinois State games, Evan Adamczewski, 2027, still on the board, outfield, first baseman, left-handed hitter, should hit in the middle of their lineup somewhere. And then one other guy didn't mention as an arm to watch is Russell Hangles. He's a 2027 arm as well that, big body, really dynamic stuff. Depending on what kind of jump he makes this fall, like he could be one of the, top 2027 still on the board when it comes to next spring. He's shown flashes of really good stuff. So there's probably some guys I'm missing on there, but really high on Maine South. Love what they did last year at the end of the year, bringing a ton of guys back. I think Coach Lorenz does a great job over there as well. So keep an eye on those guys.
That's a great call out because we interviewed him last year at the convention, and one of the main talking points was like how tough their schedule was going to be. And it's kind of cool that it like played into like what he was saying is like we're going to be battle tested, and clearly it paid off. But I really like that call out. I can't believe that I am able to take this team in this position. I'm going to take Nazareth. Like, we have yet to bring them up. Yes, they lose Jaden Fauski. Obviously, that's a big loss. They lose Mac McGarry, Andrew Corus, Colin Roche, and Chase Zidlicki. But, they still got Landon Tomei, who is arguably the best, most polished left-handed bat in the Midwest, maybe even farther than that across the country. So they got Landon Tomei. Cam Alican, one of the better outfielders in the state. Harper commit, that kid. We really liked him for a long time. He's a performer. And they got some depth on the mound. They got Connor McKay, senior future gamer, James Wasson, a future gamer, Eddie Donnelly. Like, they got some arms that we think can eat up innings for them. And then they got some younger guys that we like too, with like Gavin Hardigan. That kid's toolsy as all heck. A talented 2028. Like, Nazareth, they're going to be well coached. They're going to have depth, and they're just a team to watch every single year.
One other guy too that just as you're talking about Naz, I was doing just slight digging on my end, like Drew Highland. I don't know if you mentioned him, but he was a guy that showed really well at our state games.
100%.
On the mound as an outfielder. Yeah, exactly. 6'7" runner. He's going to Grand Valley State. So like that's the thing too is we're doing these far too early, predictions or whatever, and there's guys that we'll miss and like guys that'll pop up this winter, and you can't count out Nazareth, especially with the best bat in the state. So
all right, and then before we wrap this up, one thing I had to ask you guys, we did this last year a little bit with like the turkey ham debate, but we don't need to do a debate. I'm just curious, like, what are your guys' like favorite Thanksgiving sides to choose?
For me, it's chicken and dumplings. My grandpa made them growing up. Unfortunately, he passed away, but like my grandma still makes them to this day. Always my favorite. Obviously, there's a little bit of sentimental feeling behind that, but that's my number one right there.
It's kind of I feel like a cheat one here, but my favorite side is definitely mashed potatoes. My mom makes like I don't know, she like puts cream cheese and a bunch of stuff in it, so it's not just like plain mashed potatoes, and it's kind of like a family staple for me and my cousins. So I'm going mashed potatoes.
Mine, like, I don't think it's a very common one. Like, my mom makes this like broccoli casserole with like cheese and like cream of mushroom soup is how she like bakes it and like sets it up. And it's like it's everyone's favorite. So it's kind of, I doubt you guys have ever had that. So it's kind of tough. Yeah, it's tough to give it the respect it deserves, but it's really good. Trust me.
Hima, what do you mean? You know I love broccoli.
I don't know if you ever tried broccoli.
It's funny you say that because my future mother-in-law apparently makes a great one. Again, I'm not gonna dive in there because I don't I'm not a big vegetable guy. But funny you say that because it's like a staple in my fiance's household.
Regardless, it's always a good move to compliment the mother-in-law's cooking. I mean, that's a savvy move you're already learning at a young age over there. I don't know if I've had this before at Thanksgiving, and I kind of had to look it up because I wasn't even sure what I was eating. But I believe it's like a creamed corn that one of Jacqueline's aunts made. And I mean, I went back for seconds and thirds. I tried to convince Hudson to eat it. Yeah, I know, Tyler. Yeah, me even eating one portion is impressive. But no, this creamed corn was incredible. I hope they bring it back every year. If I've missed it in the past, I'm definitely not going to miss it moving forward because it was phenomenal.
We actually had that too, and that was like my favorite dish I think this year, but it's like not something we usually have. But it was almost like a cornbread. Is yours, was it like baked or like?
See, now you're getting it was in a crock pot.
Okay.
It was not cornbreadish. It was more cream than cornbread. And it was really good.
To stick with the old classic mac and cheese over here, so pretty good. It's always good, man.
We had some of that this year too. I'm always a mac and cheese guy, but the cream corn just outdid it this year, Dane. I don't know. We'll see. We might have to mix in some more ingredients to the mac and cheese, some bacon crumbles or something to get it up on the cream corn echelon.
All right. Well, I hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving. Glad we're kind of finally getting back into this. But appreciate you guys always listening. And we will see you next week. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, we want to repeat as MVPs here of all the states across the landscape. So the more followers, the more clicks. Share this with anybody you think would enjoy it. Subscribe multiple times if it's possible, and make sure to click that button. But thanks to everybody out there.